Welcome back, traders. You're not going to want to miss this interview with John Shelton, one of our students who has recently earned himself over 20,000 US dollars in his first payout as a trader. So John Shelton is one of our students who has been mentored by the senior traders here at Citi, none other than Daniel Martin, the co-founder of Citi Traders Imperium, Diego Torres, the senior coach, and I am super grateful that I have been part of John's journey where he has gone from a struggling trader to now a profitable trader. You are going to be so inspired by John's story, who is an American veteran. Guys, before we begin, I would like to ask you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, support this channel so we can continue to inspire other traders just like you who are currently struggling but need that motivation, need to know how other traders are doing it. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Tell us a little bit about where you're from.
I was born in North Carolina, but I come from a military family, so all the males in my family, their names are John and they joined the military. That's pretty much sums it up. And I grew up half of my childhood in North Carolina and half of my childhood in Panama, Central America on Fort Clayton. And when I was 18, I pretty much knew that I was too wild for college. I was just going to waste my parents' money or waste my own money. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just remember hanging out with the buddies and doing what the buddies do. And one morning I woke up just completely hungover and I decided that I'm not going anywhere with this. And I needed to get on with life. So I just went to a recruiter and signed up for the military.
Nice. And what lessons or sort of skills would you say you've brought that experience into your trading?
Discipline, right? Let's talk about discipline for a little bit because I intentionally was the guy that would not be disciplined intentionally because my grandfather would inspect my rooms every single morning when I stayed with them. My stepfather would just tell me to do all of these things, and as just to revolt, I would say no. I was just an asshole growing up. Then I joined the military, and I'm used to being yelled at by a Green Beret every day, so these guys really don't scare me. So I revolt against them. And that was I just had a terrible mindset, man. It wasn't a mindset of growth. It was a mindset of almost like it was a very narcissistic mindset. Then me in 81 one time, let's just say he taught me a lesson. He taught me a lesson. And from that moment forward, he believed in me because he knew that I had the ability to do good things in the military. And after that little scuffle we had, I ended up getting all of my qualifications and ended up being one of the go-to guys and being able to work on the planes and teach people how to work on the planes. And I really enjoyed it. But because I grew up in a military family, and this is like no fault to my parents, but I didn't want that for my children because mom and dad were always gone. And I promised myself that if I ever had a kid that I'd get out of the military. And I met my wife in my first term and we had our first kid. And so I had to get out. So I did. Then I went to college. I finished a 4-year degree in 3 years, going through summers and on the GI Bill. And then from there, I couldn't find a job because the economy wasn't good. My buddy Drew worked up in the oil fields and he was like, "Hey man, we're making tons of money up here. Why don't you come up here and hang out?" And that's what I did. And then I got laid off because the price of oil went below 50 a barrel. And in the Bakken, because they're fracking, if it drops below 50 a barrel, it's not profitable anymore to drill it out.
Yeah.
So they cap the wells and they move on and wait.
Literally, yeah, last year, I remember that.
Yeah. So I got laid off and then I had no options. I'll never forget it. I was actually working out to go back into the military as an officer and fly and kind of break my rule there. And I always promised myself if there was a plan B, if there was always a different option, then I would do it. But I had 3 kids. My wife's Filipino, and we were living at her Tito's house. And I was just like, I can't sustain this. Like, I need to do something. And then I got a call from one of my first mentors, Dustin Rhodes, a prior Navy guy as well, and he offered me a position to go sell cargo aircraft charters. That was a hell of a job, man. That was a hell of a job. But the main reason why I got out of the military, which was for family, because I made good money there, but I was always gone again. I would sleep in the office. We would have flights that would go on, and I mean, my mentor would literally come into the office in the morning. I'd be sleeping on the couch, you know, and I just realized that it wasn't for the family. It just was not a healthy thing, and I needed to change. So from there, financial advising. I tried to work at an airline. I worked at an airline called Volga for a while. It's a Russian airline. They charter out 747s and Antonov 124s and Ilyushin 76s for the private market, mainly just oil and gas and automotive industries and like relief effort for hurricanes and stuff like that. And the same issue I ran into with the family in the military, and when I was a cargo broker, it kept popping up over and over and over and over again in my life, where I wasn't there for my family. Sure, I
Yeah.
could bring the bacon home, but I wasn't watching my kids grow.
Yeah, yeah. So what was the point at which you broke away from that cycle?
It was actually at my lowest point in life. Actually, I was in a dark place in my financial advising business. I left there, the aviation sector, and I went into finance and got my licenses, but I wasn't happy. Once again, I was not happy because once again, working for other people, I was always giving them all my time and not the people that I loved and cared about.
Yeah.
And um, you know, that breaking point was when my buddy Drew came, and we were just talking about life and what our goals and ambitions were, and he was telling me about trading, and then I looked into it, and then I realized I can spend the next 5 years learning to trade, not make any money, and the 1 year that I finally figure it out, I'm going to be making more money than I did in the last 5 years if I
Yeah.
would have just worked normally.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why wouldn't I figure this out?
Yeah.
And so then I began that journey. It's so funny because a lot of people think that trading it's very paradoxical. It's so funny, but it's really a it's really a course in self development. Trading, it's about self development. Like
Yeah. It
you
really
have
is. It really is. It's trading is a self-improvement tool.
yeah, like it genuinely is.
Yeah.
Uh, like Daniel taught me that like in the first friggin' lesson that I sat down with him. It was a very interesting thing actually and humbling.
It's Daniel
Um,
Martin, the co-founder of CTI.
yeah, yeah. So it's been quite the journey, man. And this is for all the people out there that they're considering trading and they're in a job, and you don't have to do it just like me, but I recommend that if you're on the cusp of am I going to do this or not, just do it
Yeah.
because you don't have to put money into it as well. You can trade a demo for a very long time until you get confident on an edge. And with your strategy and most importantly, your internal dialogue and your emotions. And then you can take it from there to wherever you want,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it's really good advice. It's definitely something that people just need to be prepared to just burn their bridges and just go for it. So
Oh,
it's so powerful when you do that, especially when you're at a low moment. I've
yeah.
been for a very similar experience. Um, Hitting that sort of rock bottom, you've got your back against the wall, and there's nothing else to lose. When you're in that, when you're at that low, you're actually in a very powerful position because you've got nothing else to lose. So then that's when you go for it, and it's how it's not it's just how high you bounce when you fall, and it's that moment when you can really bounce back. So when you started your trading, what kind of strategies did you learn, and who did you learn from, and yeah, and what kind of strategies do you follow now?
So before CTI, I mean, I was a YouTube graduate.
Yeah.
I watched everybody. I tried to consume as much information as I possibly could. I had analysis paralysis. It's a real thing. I went Fibonacci's, divergence, basic support and resistance with trend lines thrown in, your harmonic patterns, and all of these things. I came across no nonsense Forex as well. Started trading with indicators. I did naked Forex style of trading, and I did that for a while as well. And really, it's important in trading that you find something that works for you. And there's going to be a period in growth as a trader where it's healthy for you to learn other people's and strategies and how they trade. But it's very critical that you understand that that is not how you will trade. You need to understand broadly there's over 1,000 ways to make money in the market, but you're not going to make money unless it's yours and
Yeah.
it's personalized.
So how did
Um,
you personalize your strategy then?
well, after I came across smart money concepts, Wyckoff theory, by the way, thank you very much to both you and Diego, because Diego, your cousin, told me, hey, you need to go watch Rodrigo's video about Wyckoff theory. And if I ever had a aha moment, it was, and I knew about Wyckoff beforehand, but the way you explained it really opened my mind to how the market moves. And that was a very powerful moment in my progress as a trader because I work off of fundamentals and I extrapolate from there. And if you don't understand why the market moves, then it's very hard to find the opportunities that you're going to look for. So,
Absolutely.
anyways, I mix my trading strategy is a mix between Wyckoff theory, Fibonacci's, some smart money concepts, and I mix it in with reading volume heavily. I think volume is very important. And in addition to that, I base my trades off of higher time frames, but my entries are on very small time frames,
Hello.
1 minute, 30 seconds.
Nice.
But they're based off of 1 hour, 4 hour dailies,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
So really, yeah, pinpoint accuracy entries.
Right.
Those yeah. You have to be very accurate at that level.
Yeah, and you're not that it even matters. Diego tells me all the time, your win rate doesn't freaking matter. But this is for the
Yeah.
new traders out there. I only win like 30% of the time, 33, and sometimes it'll bounce up to 40% if it's a really good market for my strategy. And sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes your strategy just is not going to work, and you got to be ready for that drawdown.
Yeah. But
But
it's your R multiples. So what kind of R multiples are you getting now compared to before?
I was lucky before if I got 1 to 2. Now I'm getting 1 to 10 plus. Yeah, on the
Nice.
regular. Like every trade that I take is normally 1 to 10 plus. And eventually in time through back testing, I could probably improve that actually. But for right now, I'm just sticking to what works and
Yeah,
I'm
there's
not
no point, fixing the fridge if it's not broken.
yeah, like I'm not trying to, change much of anything up right now outside of my internal dialogue, exercise, and diet, and because I think that stuff's extremely critical. And bringing it back to my discipline, I revolted against discipline for a very long time, and it was so funny because working with Daniel, he really helped me understand that discipline is so critical in trading. Having a routine, thinking about your thinking.
Yeah,
God,
that's
we could talk
powerful.
for hours about that. But these things are so critical. And like 95, 98% of trading is mental and has nothing to actually do with trading.
Yeah,
It's all up here.
yeah,
And so that's what I'm focusing on now is my routine is pretty solid. I do the same thing every day and I plan for chaos later in the day as well. So I stop planning my day basically at 1, and then the rest of the day until I go to bed is unplanned, and that's for the family. I'm more disciplined today than I ever have been. That's the paradox of trading, right? Everybody gets in for the freedom, but you don't have freedom.
Yeah.
Like,
The thing is, it's like, yeah, you're right. I like the way you said that because yeah, everybody does get in trading for freedom, but you have to submit to the process, and the process is it's a journey. And if you don't love it, if you don't enjoy it, then it's gonna feel like a job. It's
yeah,
gonna feel like you were in that trap previously. That's why you're going. That's what people go through. They go through the same cycle. They go from job to job, career to career. Even they move from one place to another place, but they experience the same things. But it's because they're trying to find that freedom, right? But they're doing the same thing over and over again. They're not changing what's in here. When you change your thinking and you literally rewire the way you're thinking and you reprogram what's going on via your daily habits, because that's the key. If you can be disciplined in your daily habits and your routines, you will be disciplined with your trading. And I think your journey is it's very inspiring, and I'm so grateful that I've been part of that. Even if you
yeah,
watch like a 20-minute video of me talking about Wyckoff and you got that aha moment, I'm grateful for that as well because your success is it's just so powerful. It's so inspiring that you went through those cycles, but then you just decided, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do what it takes. You've spent the last 6,500 hours just grinding, and now obviously you have your edge. You have the discipline, which is why 99% of traders likely fail constantly. It's because they don't have that discipline, and self sabotage is the biggest reason why they fail.
oh, it's real.
It is
It's real.
real, and it gets to that stage now that although you have had some success, which we'll touch on in a minute, and you've had previous struggles which you've overcome, now you're going to experience new struggles. And there's a concept going around right now, the inchworm concept, which Jared Tendler he really explains very well in his book. But it's essentially what you've managed to do is you managed to get the tip of your inchworm, so your A game. You've managed to increase that, but you've also increased your C game. And so your A game, B game, and C game are quite close together, but you've now pushing the boundaries and you're pushing your A game even further. But you can't push your A game can't increase unless your C game increases. So if you narrow that range between your C game and your A game, then you can expand your A game. And so that's how the inchworm moves forward, right? And so that's the key now for you. Constantly push yourself, constantly, and the way to push yourself is constant small improvements. So every day or every week, just think, what can I do to improve? Just if it's to do with your routine, can you go to bed an hour earlier, or can you spend an hour more with your family? Can you trade less? Can you actually spend less time on the charts but still have a similar type of performance?
That's
Uh,
what's been happening so far is
yeah,
I've been spending less time trading and I've been more successful.
imagine that. What was been a recent example of when you did that, when you actually
Okay,
decided, you
well,
know
this
what, I'm
is
gonna
going to be
not.
a story. You are. I told you the story already, but this
Yeah,
is
go
for.
share it with the listeners.
I'll tell the story. So I had a little bit of savings when I first started trading, and my wife is a realtor, and she was working to help pay the bills. And I'm a very spiritual man as well. And it was this last month was my first profitable month, as in like I got paid. I've been consistently profitable since I think July, but this is the first month I got paid. Anyways, I mean we were broke, man. I went through all of my savings. We had $400 in the account. I'm on food stamps, and that's how dedicated I like. Could I went and got a job? Absolutely, like absolutely. But I knew that this was it. I knew that this is what I wanted to do. My wife believed in me, and I knew that I could do it, and I knew that I was making progress. So, anyways, this was our my very first paycheck was basically $21,000, and when it hit my account, I was at the grocery store. We just got paid our food stamps, and I was getting food for the family. And I just had this like feeling, hey, check your account, check your account. And I checked my account, and the money hit. And I was just like, me and my wife are just ecstatic. We were like, wow, this is crazy. This is amazing. Like, this is life changing. and we were in awe and just at the journey. It wasn't about the money. It was about the journey.
Yeah.
And we're checking out and we're just talking to each other, and I hear an old lady in kind of like distress, and she's kind of start to listen in, and she's ahead of us. She's been there for a little while, and I can hear her say, I've just did a lot of Christmas shopping and I didn't realize I spent that much money, and she can't pay for her groceries. So the very first thing I ever did with my very first paycheck from trading was I paid for some old lady's groceries. And that was a test from the Lord, I felt. Afterwards, I thought about it. At the time, I was just like, hey, yeah, I got you. Don't worry about it. Later down the road, I began to think, oh, that was a test. Because the very next day, I actually, the Lord rewarded me with $29,000 in one trade. And I normally don't judge it by the money. And this is for Daniel, because I know he's going to watch. It's about following your rules.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the most important part. But the byproduct is you're rewarded with following your rules. And I followed my rules to a T on this trade, and I was rewarded. And I decided, you know what? I'm done trading. Until I get paid, I'm done trading. And I'm going to hang out with the family, and we're going to have a good time, and I'm going to relax. And I think that's a very big part of trading as well. It's something that I learned later down the road. You have to take time away from trading.
Yeah.
You have to. And not only that, but you got to learn how to de-stress.
Yeah.
It's critical.
Yeah. But that's where the psychological edge comes from. And that's what many traders, they think that by staring at the charts, the harder they work on the charts and the more back testing and the more hours, the more that they're going to make at the end. But it's not like that, actually. It's actually quite the opposite. It's less is more. That concept.
Yeah.
When you grasp that concept in your trading, less is more. When you come to your trading, all you need to do is look at the chart. And if your edge is there, if your rules are there, you take it. If not, you walk away. And like you've done a great job, because what many traders, especially myself, I've done this many times, and you're going to probably experience, is that when we have these big wins, we want to push more, right? But sometimes you don't need to push, because 29 grand, 29k, that's a lot of dough, man. That's not chicken change, or that's like, that is, like you said, it's life changing. And thank you so much for sharing your story, John. Honestly, it's been very inspiring. I'm very grateful for being part of that journey, and I'm really glad that you got the opportunity to also share that wealth, share that journey with others, people who do need it. And that's something I'm a big believer in, and where there's no point doing all this, there's no point having all this money if you can't help others, if you can't give it away.
And I want to make this a point as well. Daniel helped me realize that very early in our sessions, where one of the first gifts he gave me, the very first gift, the nugget, man, was he asks you a series of questions, and you answer these questions and you find out why you trade. And I very quickly discovered that I have everything that I ever wanted in life. I don't need the money. It's not about the money. I have 3 beautiful girls. I have a wonderful wife. I love my family. And that's all you need in life. That's truly it. And happiness comes from within. You can be in the shittiest external circumstances and still be happy in the mind. And that was one of the greatest gifts Daniel gave me, because when I realized that I really could detach from the money, and the only reason why I even talk about the money right now is for those new traders, that's the only way they know how to think, but very quickly move away from that.
Yeah.
Because it'll hold you back for it held me back for a little over a year until I joined CTI. I began meeting with Daniel. I began meeting with Diego, and, Daniel is a psychology wizard. He's amazing. And Diego really helped me fine tune my edge and find my passion in the charts, what I really enjoyed looking for, and then fostering the growth of that edge and making it better and making it better and making it better. I'm extremely grateful for them. Like, I am. Like, it was an amazing journey, and it's still going.
And it's still it's only just started.
It just started, dude. It's just started.
Exactly. Yeah. So, man, I'm definitely keep in touch. I'm looking forward to seeing you progress. You're gonna hit some roadblocks. they are gonna come. But
I can't.
here at CDI, our doors are open. You can always contact myself, Diego, and obviously Daniel. So we're really, really proud of you.
Yeah.
We're very happy that you've had a lot of success from our coaching and mentoring, and it's about continuing following your rules, because and nothing really changes, just like you said, because you've got everything you want already. So we don't do it for the money. We're doing it for it's a lifestyle, and being a trader that's what it's all about. It's a lifestyle. And so on that note, thank you so much, John, again for your time. Thank you for sharing your inspiring story. I got goosebumps, man, listening to your story. It's brilliant. I'm sure other traders are going to appreciate your story and have had a very similar journey from going from job to job and going through similar sort of obstacles and literally being broke. I mean, we've all been there, man. Being broke it's a blessing in disguise. And when you're broke and you realize that you don't need money, that switches your mindset, which is what you had. You had a paradigm shift from sort of like the scarcity mindset into an abundance mindset. So when traders experience that, or even a human being, when they experience that paradigm shift, that moment when they realize I've got everything I really need to be happy, I don't need money, right? That is the point where actually the money starts coming in.
It's insane, man.
Yeah, because you're not chasing it anymore. You're attracting it. Attracting is different to chasing. And obviously, when you have faith as well, that's just like you know that there's a higher power there, and that's kind of like the ultimate way of living, in my opinion, from a spiritual, philosophical way of thinking. But let's not get too deep. Let's end it on that. Thank you so much, John. And keep in touch. Take care of yourself.
Alrighty.
There you have it, guys. I told you this was going to be an inspirational interview. John shows what can happen when you dedicate yourself, when you burn your bridges and you focus on one thing, and that is discipline, small, gradual progress. And John has managed to do that and demonstrated it in such a way that we, as his mentors and coaches, we're so proud of his work. And that's the kind of trader that we like to work with. Those are the kind of traders like John that you've seen today are going to make it. The ones that are committed, the ones that are willing to make those sacrifices. Feel free to comment below. Let us know what you learned from this interview and how it has inspired you to become a disciplined, profitable trader. So on that note, if you do want and require some mentorship, some coaching, we do have multiple programs that will not only teach you the foundational stuff, the most important, which is your trading psychology, your mindset. If you need that, we have the Build Your Edge course that John has actually taken, and he has literally had a paradigm shift of the way he sees the world, the way he sees trading. In terms of strategy, we also have different programs that will teach you strategies that have an edge. And this is the things that you need. You need the psychology, you need the strategy. And of course, these programs do include risk management, position sizing. And so when you put all of this together, you will get the programs that we offer. And as you can see, it works. People are succeeding from this. Everyday people are succeeding from this, and we want that for you as well. So if you are interested in one of our programs, head over to the description section. You will find links to the programs, to our website for more details. So guys, if you haven't yet done so already, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, share this video with other traders who need that inspiration. And if John can do it, if I can do it, if Daniel, Diego, if we can do it, so can you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.